What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we are here with Mikko of Swallow the Sun. Thank you so much for being here today, man. It's great to have you here.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah. So we got this brand new live album, 20 Years of Gloom, Beauty, and Despair. I really want to know, like, was there a specific reason why you chose this particular gig in Helsinki to make this the first ever Swallow the Sun live album?
Well, basically, only because that's what we had. Like, you know, well, when this COVID-19 shit started to happen, yeah. Well, before that, we started that tour from Finland, our home country, and we played 9 gigs in Finland and one in Estonia. And yeah, we were supposed to continue that tour in the United States as well and do all the shows in Europe as well. But then everything got canceled. But our good friend, it's actually our sound engineer's brother, asked us that, do you guys want to film the show in Helsinki, because he has like all the cameras and stuff. And we said like, yeah, why not? Like maybe we can use this later. And yeah, then yeah, maybe that's the only lucky part in this fucking thing.
Yeah.
So
If it wasn't for this thing, we wouldn't have this live album.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like yeah, by accident it turned out like this, and like yeah, we had like really high hopes and big plans to do that 20th anniversary tour and everything. Like, but yeah, at least now people can see this. Like, because we in the end we only managed to play like 10 shows.
Yeah. It's
And
it's representative of the times, and I feel like all of Swallow the Sun's music though is representative of these dire times that we're in. I feel like this whole Swallow the Sun catalog is almost the soundtrack to these times of isolation and uncertainty. Could this maybe also, and forgive me for speculating, but could this maybe also service to hold the fans over while we wait for a follow up album to When a Shadow is Forced into the Light?
could be, could be, but I'm not allowed to speak about that yet. But
Okay, fair enough.
yeah, maybe.
Well, I've always said that the Swallow the Sun is the sound of the beauty of darkness in a way. I feel like you take really all the darkest aspects of life, both internally and externally, and really express it into your own unique sound. So has maybe this time that we're living in of isolation maybe influenced you lyrically or maybe even helped you come up with some new ideas?
Somehow yes, but you know, we are, yeah, we are from Finland, so I think like mentally Finnish people are pretty introvert, and like we kind of like to be isolated. So actually, like yeah, I'm not talking about this financially, because financially, like this whole pandemic shit has been disastrous for all, probably for all the bands. But like yeah, I've been happy to be at home, you know, because we've been always touring quite a lot. And uh and I've been thinking about that. We never actually ever had this long break from touring since 2007. So and I kind of feel happy being home and not do anything, not seeing anyone. I kind of like it. So, but yeah, like financially, when you are trying to make a living out of this, it's a fucking disaster. But that's another thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
we do this for the love for music, and so money is actually not so big deal. So yeah.
I wanted to ask a little bit about the songwriting process for Swallow the Sun because I do think that like it's fair to assume that maybe Swallow the Sun's music is very conceptually driven. Like I know that Songs from the North had like this, these three album series sort of things, and I know that When a Shadow Was Forced into the Light was dedicated to Aaliyah from Trees of Eternity. Do you like think of these concepts or think of these stories and that influences the musical direction as well?
Yeah, yeah, like our music is very like down the earth kind of, and like stories about life, and like, life sucks sometimes, and like shitty things happen, and like traditional music in Finland when we were kids, and like what our parents used to listen to in the radio, and like sort of like traditional Finnish music is very like melancholic. So yeah, I think this just somehow reflects our lives, and comes out naturally, and yeah, and we pretty well. I think I can say this not only on my behalf, but yeah, who the fuck wants to listen to positive music? Sounds terrible.
Yeah. And I feel like though when I see Swallow the Sun live though you take a lot of these negative aspects of life and all this darkness, and I think you really do create a positive experience when you're interacting with the audience. I mean, people really do connect with your music. I knew a couple of people who lost loved ones when A Shadow is Forced into the Light was released, and they were able to really identify with it because of what the album was expressing.
Yeah, that's right, and it's always good to hear like if our music has helped somebody to like out of like difficult times. Like it's it's terrible shit what people have to go through in their lives. Like the older you get, the harder things get in your life, and yes, we kind of like play real and depressive stuff, but yeah, I think it can give you hope in some weird fucking sense.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to utilizing the negative aspects of life, is it always coming from personal experiences, or is there maybe like, because the world humanity has a very bloody and dark history. Has there ever been a time where maybe you're writing from the point of view of somebody else? Because I almost feel like The Morning Never Came to Ghosts of Loss to an album such as New Moon almost kind of express the doom in different sort of aspects in a way.
Yeah, well, if you go back to those days, like, of course, we were much younger, but I think most of the stuff like has come out of our lives, like what's been happening, and if you think about like The Morning Never Came, that's almost like 20 years ago. So we were a lot younger and not so experienced in life, and like relatives were alive back then, and yeah, a lot of things have changed during the years, and like it's also reflects to the music.
Hmm.
And but yeah, like we are not in any way like a political band or anything like that. So most of the stuff comes from our personal lives. So
Do you almost does inspiration strike when you least expect it to, or do you almost like put yourself into this, like do you almost purposely put yourself in this sort of negative mindset in order to let the creativity flow through?
no, just things just there's never any pressure, like if nothing new comes out, we can happily like we are not forced to do anything. So yeah, if nothing comes out, then that's about it.
Yeah, it's a very organic songwriting process to say, right?
Yeah, yeah, we are not a product of music business or anything like that. We don't. It would be wise to do things regularly, but who the fuck cares?
Yeah,
Like it's a it's a form of art, and it needs to be honest.
yeah,
Like
and
if there's no feeling, there's nothing.
yeah, and it almost seems like being that Swallow the Sun is such a prolific band. I mean, I remember in 2015 when we got three Swallow the Sun albums, and like it really was, and it was all very, very indulging to listen to. It almost seems like it's not hard to find creative inspiration. It almost seems like you're able to create the art when you want it to, and it comes frequently.
Yeah, but we are kind of like old geezers. Like it's when we were young, like albums were huge and like musical and everything. Now it's just fucking a lot of the music that comes out these days is just fucking disposable bullshit. And like, yeah, I don't really know how to explain it, but back in the day, things were better.
What do you? What,
Music was better.
well, being a lot of people have categorized Swallow the Sun as like the melodic death metal style. Like people have compared you to Insomnium and Amorphis and Omnium Gatherum and a lot of bands in that. And I know they're great peers of yours in the metal scene, but there's been a lot of styles of music that have expressed negative energy and negative emotion. Why do you feel that that the style of music that you play best expresses this darkness that you feel inside?
Yeah, that's a tough question because, yeah, well, I think it's the melancholic side of the music. It really, like I said before, it comes from then the mother's milk. Like traditional Finnish music is really like not so upbeat, happy stuff. So it comes comes from somewhere there. Like there's no other way. Like never been. Like yeah, it's Finland is a weird place to live. Like and Nordic countries overall, it's this is not a happy place to live. So
You're the first
come
person.
somewhere from there.
I've interviewed hundreds of bands from Finland. You're the first person to say that with all the heavy metal in the world and everything like that. You would think it would be the best place to live.
Yeah, well, fuck them.
um, When it comes to like this songwriting and channeling this emotion into your music, do all of the members of Swallow the Sun need to feel the same way? Do you all need to feel like have your mindset in the same sort of scenario in order to make the music sound consistent, or could maybe the members have different emotions going through their mind and that's what helps uh like express your experimental sound?
Uh, well, no, not really. I don't think like. Well, it doesn't go like that. Like, well, I think we have like pretty good players in our band. Like, so our music is kind of like musical. Like everybody is concentrating to do their own thing, and I, yeah, usually it's my job to, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm the one who's singing the lyrics, and but it doesn't necessarily mean that the bass player cannot be happy when he's playing his favorite instrument. So
Yeah.
you know, and we are all like, we are fans of like old school like progressive music, and like in the end playing is fun, you know. And it's it's a great thing when somebody can play like own instrument like perfectly and like good. Like that's the fun part in music. But yeah, let's say that our bass player doesn't necessarily have to be angry to be able to perform our music
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah. And that led me into the next question, kind of going into the live presence, because when it comes to expressing this music live, I mean, there is a lot of positive energy. When I saw you on the Dark Tranquility tour from 2016 or 2017, and yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and great time and great show. And like I've always said that like even though this music has so much darkness expressed through it, when we're hearing it live and there's a lot of unity and a lot of energy, it almost like, do you channel that? Do you almost feel that when you're performing this music in a live presence, there's a different type of energy that you channel into your live presence, or do you consider singing on a stage versus and singing in a vocal booth fairly similar?
No, like it's always the best spot to do it like live. Like I hate recording albums. Like it's because yeah, there's usually you can get so much energy out of the audience, like, and you know, like and usually our gigs are, there's no huge fucking wall of death or mosh pit or anything like that. So it's I get, usually I get the best out of it when people are actually paying attention and listening to it. So like but yeah, I guess the dark club show, that's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, like studio environment, and it's hard to get the right feeling out of that.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing that return. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Is there just anything else with the release of 20 years of Beauty, Gloom, and Despair that you would like to promote? And like, is there, when this fucking COVID shit is behind us, we'll be seeing Swallow the Sun on the road quite a bit, right? And anything else you would like to promote?
Well, during these tough times, it's yeah, buy the album if you can, and we'll be back for sure when we are allowed to play live again, like hopefully sooner than later. But
Yeah, it'll be worth the wait. But thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Mikko of Swallow the Sun, 20 years of beauty, gloom, and despair, coming out via Century Media. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.
cheers, man.
Yeah.